Oh my gosh, Jim, thank you so much. It is, I can't, I was walking in here today saying COVID is hopefully finally behind us. And how wonderful it is to be at a buffet when, I don't know, when was the last time you were at a buffet? 2019? So, first of all, I want to thank Jim for being such a wonderful friend to me. I want to thank everyone for being here today, and I want to applaud Tim Daly, Robin Bronk, and the rest of the Creative Coalition leadership for spearheading this mission. It is such an honor for me to be here today. I come from a family of frustrated actors, right? My mother was always wanted to be on the stage, but she never made it there. Instead, she had 10 kids. So that kept her kind of busy. But I know that artistic pursuits are often overlooked when we discuss federal spending priorities. But I hope that you know the reason why you're here is to bring awareness to people on both sides of the aisle as to how important it is for us to support the arts in this country. As a member of Congress, I have advocated for robust funding for the arts. This year I signed onto a letter supporting $204 million in funding for the National Endowment for the Arts in the 2023 fiscal year. I mean, this is an investment that is long overdue. I'm also co-chair of the Live Events Caucus, which focuses on the important role of entertainers and behind-the-scenes workers in driving local economies and building communities. So I just want to leave you with one thought. You know, for 2 years, we were basically in a lockdown situation, only seeing family and maybe a handful of friends working from home, locked in our homes. And I can't thank all of the people, part of the Creative Coalition, actors, producers, writers, people who kept the sanity of the American public, because all we could do was watch TV to be entertained. That was it. There was no going to movies. There was no walking. Well, maybe you could walk in the park. But your industry kept this country sane. And I think that we owe it to you to support you in every way possible. So I am lucky enough to introduce you're the keynote, I guess, is what we're calling you, I guess.
You call me whatever you want.
All right. So, I ran into Tim in the elevator, and I told him my sister, who is a pediatric oncology nurse, was so jealous when I told her I was going to be with you today. And I can't wait to show her the picture. But I remember Tim Daly from Wings, right? I'm dating myself, but that I know, but you still look great. Come on. Obviously, from my reference to Wings, Tim Daly is a veteran in the creative community. He's worked extensively as an actor, producer, and director. He is born in New York, so he's a fellow New Yorker. I claim him as a New Yorker. But one of the great things about Tim is that he has used his platform to mobilize the skills of artists and entertainers to advocate the advancement of the arts in the policy-making progress. That's why he's down here today, and we're very lucky to have him here. I want to ask you all to join me in welcoming the president of the Creative Coalition, Tim Daly.
Well, I have to start with, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit, Kathleen, about keeping our country sane. I'm not going to go too far down the road, but it's weird. Like, I prepared a speech for like 2019 and I forgot it, so I'm just going to kind of wing it here today. I really don't know what I'm going to say, except this. Oscar Wilde, the great playwright, said one of the wisest things ever. He said, if you want to tell people the truth, make them laugh. Otherwise, they'll kill you. So, and that titter means that my life is in danger, so I'm going to try something. So I'm here to talk about art, and I came across this quote by Frank Zappa. You know Frank Zappa? We have Frank Zappa in mind, Mothers of Invention. He was a sort of innovative and experimental musician and great composer. And he said this: the most important thing in art is the frame, for painting literally, for other arts figuratively, because without this humble appliance, you can't know where the art stops and the real world begins. You have to put a box around it, because otherwise, what is that shit on the wall? Now, I have to say, I disagree with Mr. Zappa. And it's been my mission to actually not separate art from the real world. Art is part of the real world. Everything that we experience is the real world. So whether you're making pottery or writing a poem or working on a spreadsheet or hitting a baseball, that's all part of who we are. And I think that arts have gotten short shrift because we continue, for some reason, to separate it from our reality, when in fact, it is part of our reality every day, and especially here in Washington, D.C. Walk around this city, walk around the halls of Congress, look at the art, the sculptures, the architecture. It's profound, and it's there for a reason. I was thinking today about, we were talking about poetry, and we were talking about America the Beautiful, which is a beautiful poem, and we were talking about the national anthem. Now, there's a reason that the national anthem is sung. It's because there are words that inspire us intellectually, but there's a tune, there's a song that goes into our bodies, into our nervous system, and unites us and makes us feel strong and powerful and proud of who we are. And that's what arts do. I mean, for God's sake, anytime anyone goes to a foreign country, or we have foreign dignitaries in this country, what is the first thing we do? We trot out the artists. The people come out and sing and dance, and because the arts are the emissaries of our culture. They're the custodians of who we are as a people. So it is vitally important that we support arts. And just a little bit about the Creative Coalition. We're an organization that endeavors to inspire and motivate and mobilize our audiences and ourselves around issues of public importance, especially arts and arts education, but also things that benefit us as a society at large. We've done a lot of stuff for mental health issues, for obesity issues, for issues of media literacy, veterans PTSD and suicide awareness. So we're able to show how arts can be effective in communicating things, not just to entertain us, but to enlighten us and to inspire us to be a better place and to be better human beings. And I always have to remind everyone that we are not an organization that advocates only for artists. In fact, what our main goal is to make sure that arts reach everyone, especially children, because not so that they can become professional artists, that's a tough road, but so that because we know, and all our evidence and all the data backs this up, that children will be more empathetic, more compassionate, kinder, more imaginative, more creative, more successful and productive human beings if they have a full curriculum of arts throughout their lives in school. I remember the first time I came here, I read a statistic, and it was that if children have a full curriculum of arts, they're 3 times more likely to graduate from high school. And I was like, boom, done. I'll just say that, and the NEA will be saved, and arts will be in school, because how can you argue with that? I mean, I want to talk to every parent, especially of our mother in the United States, and say, do you know that if your child studies arts, they're 3 times more likely to graduate from high school? They'll be more likely to go on to higher education. They'll do better on their SLTs. They'll make more money. This is just a fact of life. The Fortune 500 companies in this country have said repeatedly in polls that the #1 quality they're looking for in their future employees is creative thinkers. Now, creative thinkers they're not just on the street. You can't just pick someone up. The creative mind is something that needs to be exercised like a muscle, and the arts are the gym for the creative mind. Our imaginations are the things that are going to get us out of all our problems and help us find different ways to attack the things that are our challenges. So, yeah, that's what I think.
Wow.
So, I'm trying to think if there's anything important that I left out. I guess just to say that I believe, and there's a lot of evidence. Well, I'm not going to finish yet. I'm going to keep going. It's been 3 years. I'm going to keep going. There's a mental health crisis in this country that we all know about, especially among teenagers. And The arts are the common language of our humanity. They actually can connect us. And I think it will be vital to get our teenagers back involved in artistic pursuits, because it will connect them again, it will connect them to each other, and it will give them a chance to be seen. I've been telling a story all day today about an organization that I was involved with in LA called Inside Out Writers, which was for kids who had been in the criminal justice system. Some of these kids had committed pretty bad crimes. The recidivism rate in LA County at that time was between 70 and 80%. So essentially, if a 15-year-old had committed a crime and was in prison, they had an 80% chance of being a professional criminal. After Inside Out Writers, which was a simple creative writing program where kids wrote down their truth, whatever it was, read it out loud to each other, and commented respectfully on what other people had written. After they did that program, the recidivism rate went down to 6%. It is profoundly effective. And the reason it works is because these kids feel seen. They've created something and said, this is my truth. And if you think about it, this is what we've been doing for each other since we crawled out of the ooze. You know, a caveman in a cave drew a picture of a saber-toothed tiger and a stick figure of himself and turned to the rest of the, humanoids or whatever they and said like, ugh, ugh, and they went, ugh, ugh, ugh. Yeah, that was me. That same tiger chased me. It's a way of sharing our humanity with each other and our common experience. So I think that, especially in these times, we really need to think of arts education and exposure to the arts and participation in the arts as a vaccine. It's like a vaccine against dropping out of high school, against being stuck in prison, against creative minds that are going fallow, against imaginations that are shriveling up because there's nothing to spark that imagination. There's nothing to exercise that muscle. So what I'd like to ask all of you to do is to help spread this word, to make sure that when someone asks you if you're an artist and you say, no, I suck at art, think about it. Think about whether you sew your own clothes, or whether you strum a guitar in your basement, or whether you sing in a church choir, or whether you do paintings, or whether you have a garden that you're inspired by. We're not talking about professional artists. We're talking about the artistic pursuits that human beings need to separate themselves from the rest of the animals, right? This is the common language of our humanity, so embrace it. And now I will close. And just to say that, arts, I believe, and it has been demonstrated to me, are one of the most effective and profound and transformative and powerful change agents available to us as human beings. So please, let's fight for our children's imaginations. Let's fight for their creativity. And let's fight for our collective right to bear arts. Thank you so much.